Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Salomon HPS Takaharu Nakai board, not the EP. This board features Salomon's powder camber, which is rocker in the nose, and then a setback rear camber which comes to the apex right before the rear insert pack, and then there's a tiny little rocker in the tail. This is going to give you all the load, pop, snap, and drive from the rear foot, but you're going to have this elongated rocker in the nose for ease of entry in and out of turns, as well as more optimal powder float. The rocker in the tail, yeah, it really doesn't do anything. This board's available in 155, 158, and 161. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on a day that had gotten 3 inches overnight on top of the foot we had gotten in the previous 36 hours. There was some chop, chunder, warmer temps going colder as there was a storm blowing in, high winds at the top of the mountain. Down at the lower portion of the mountain, it was perfect corduroy, no wind, and I rode it with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. The overall flex of this board comes in at a middle of the road. Nothing mind-blowing there, but it is consistent. You do have a slightly softer nose, and that is more pronounced due to that elongated rocker, and then it stiffens up through the midsection back to the tail. It's pretty much a consistent flex there, maybe just a hair stiffer right under that rear foot. The torsional flex is noticeable, and you can really twist this board without a lot of reactivity to it. When it comes to stability, if you're gonna charge into a icy, rutted out mogul death field, yeah, you're gonna get bucked around. Any board would. But if you go into lumpy snow that's a little uneven, this board's gonna stay on top of it. And on a groomer, you might get a little chatter in the nose, but that pretty much is killed off before it hits the front foot. So with the setback camber profile on this board, you're gonna get all your pop out of the rear foot through the tail. It is easy to engage. You don't have to aggressively load it up to get pop. When you do aggressively load it, you get a little bit more. Overall, it's one of those camber profiles that what you put in is what you're gonna get out of it. So we're about halfway through this review. Have you clicked like? Have you subscribed? Have you clicked the bell to get those notifications? You know you want to, because that way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for you. Butterability. With that elongated rocker in the nose, you have a ton of surface area to really pop a 180, press into, have it hold, and it'll still snap out. It's very easy to engage. You don't have to worry about it. Ideally, this is where you want to be pow buttering. If you're going to pow butter on the tail, just understand you're basically sitting outside that rear insert pack, doing a high-speed wheelie. And if you need to get sideways on a groomer, it's gonna hold and allow you to just sit on it until you wanna disengage, and then you're gonna get a little pop out of it because the camber profile is at its apex right before the rear insert. So it just has a ton of rebound back there. This board has a very smooth and fluid edge-to-edge roll with it due to the ankle flexion you're getting from the torsional flex of this board. The more you twist it, the quicker you can actually get it to go from toe to heel, back and forth. This board really excels at ankle steering. Short, tight, quick carves are easy, and when you get into a medium mellow carve, it locks in and it cuts through everything without a care in the world. Now, when you get into a deep, hard carve, because of that rear foot camber, you can really load it up by pushing your knee into the center of the board, and that's gonna disengage the front of it. So you're gonna get a ton of power out of that carve and really lay it over if you want to. If you know how to carve, you're not gonna have a problem with this board. And if you don't know how to carve, you're still not gonna have a problem with this board. It wants to get on edge. Is it the most aggressive thing that's gonna cut through everything? No, but it locks in and it holds well. Rider in mind. So who's this board for? The resort ripping, powder focused rider. Someone that just wants something that's a little more back foot dominant, get that nose up and just sort of surf the white wave, but still be able to rip a groomer if they have to. Hey, if you like what we're doing and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. Honestly, I don't think this board needs to exist. You already have the Takaharu Nakai EP. There's too much overlap between the two of them. The subtle differences most people aren't going to notice. Like I said, you don't need to. If anything, this was a little bit more laid back and swoopy with its turns. You don't really have to worry too much. There's not a crazy amount of precision between them. It just feels like you could merge the two and just have one. Comparable boards, the Endeavor Archetype, the K2 Instrument, the Rome Ravine. Binding recommendations, the Salomon Hologram, the K2 Bond, the Union Strata. This has been my review of the Salomon HPS Takaharu Nakai. If you like this review, why don't you go check out one from one of our comparable boards? You know you want to.